When you take a car to a famous hill climb event, you tend to tweak it. Well, tweak is the wrong word. You tend to rip it apart and put it back together specifically for that race. But at this year's Goodwood Festival, Lucid didn't do that. Instead, it stuck Ben Collins, aka the Stig from Top Gear, behind the wheel of the Air Grand Touring Performance, and that was it. That was the only upgrade, just a really good driver. This is the vehicle that got first place in production vehicles at the Goodwood Festival Hill Climb. It did that with 1,050 horsepower, which is, well, ridiculous. And unlike the Lucid Dream Edition, you can actually buy this. You can buy the Grand Touring Performance Edition. It's on sale right now, but it will set you back $179,000. Of course, you could save some cash by just buying the Lucid Air Grand Touring Edition. This is the regular version. It starts at $154,000, and while it won't do 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds, it will do it in, well, 3 seconds, which frankly, in the grand scheme of things in life, 0.6 seconds isn't really that big of a deal. And what's best, you can get this vehicle with 516 miles of range. No one's driving for 500 miles in one go, but if they were, they could do it in this vehicle. First, we're going to start off in the Grand Touring Performance. Now, this is the vehicle with 1,050 horsepower. 1,050 horsepower. My first car had like 86 horsepower. This has, well, a lot more. It also has 921 pound-feet of torque, which you shove those together and you can take this sedan from 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds via launch control. I've done the launch control. It is very fun. It also shoves all your innards back towards the back part of your body. It's outstanding. You do pay a tax though for all that power. While this vehicle has a larger battery pack, 118 kilowatt hours versus the regular Grand Tour's 112, it has less range. It only do 446 miles per charge. Only about 450 miles between charges in a vehicle to do 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. So how does it feel on the back roads as opposed to just going in a straight line? Well, actually pretty great. It has active dampers so that as you're going around corners, it's adjusting the suspension of the vehicle. You feel like they've figured out a way to make that power work really well with the suspension and the chassis, and that's a big deal, especially for a new car company, especially a car with this much power. Tackling the German automakers, well, that's tough, especially when it comes to luxury vehicles, but Lucid seems to have pulled it off. I mean, we're still seeing all the same stuff that we saw in the Dream Edition that we drove, except in this vehicle, this is a production vehicle. Meanwhile, over here in the Grand Touring, I have to contend with a measly 819 horsepower and 855 pound-feet of torque. That's a lot of power still. That's an enormous, insane amount of power. I'm cruising around in smooth mode, and even just slightly pressing on the accelerator, the vehicle just sort of takes off. This is a sedan. It is not a supercar. That is an insane amount of power for a vehicle that just is really nice and luxurious. But speed isn't everything. Range might be important, but these vehicles are more than just proper Grand Touring sedans. Both vehicles have the same luxury we found in the Dream Edition we drove earlier this year, but unlike that pre-production vehicle, these are actual production sedans. Inside the vehicle, we're seeing the same thing that we saw in the Dream Edition, except now everything actually works. You used to have the same 34-inch wide panel. It has 3 displays. It has a touchscreen over here on the left, has your instrument cluster here in the middle, and of course your infotainment screen right here. Down here you have this sort of pilot display. It has all the car modes, it has climate control, and it has settings. So many settings for the car. I do like this little panel down here that has a lot more, well, extra stuff. It has your automobile, which means the doors, you can adjust your seats, you have massage seats, you can change the theme of everything. I can see the overall map of where I am going on my navigation, while up here I have turn by turn. That's actually really nice. And of course you can turn on the 360-degree camera from down here so I can see, well, the road and leaves. Over here on the left are actually controls via a touch screen. Overall, I think it's a really nice setup. There's not a lot going on right here right now, but Lucid says in a few months there is an update coming. And that's sort of the greatness that is over-the-air updates, is that you can just evolve your system after it's out in the field. So it'll be interesting to see what they got, but as a baseline, I feel like they got themselves a really nice infotainment system and just overall setup. With over 500 miles of range for the regular version of the Grand Tourer and close to 450 for the performance variant, plus you add DC fast charging support up to 300 kilowatts, and well, Lucid has built the luxury EV for road trips. Now, Lucid wanted to come to market and take on the German automakers, and it has succeeded. No matter which one of these you choose, Lucid is giving you a vehicle that will pamper you as you go on long road trips from state to state, or you decide you want to drive up very famous hills extremely quickly. No matter what you pick, Lucid is bringing luxury and performance and technology all in a single package, if you're willing to pay the price. For more automotive coverage next to, well, the sea, be sure to subscribe to Engadget.